I'm Danny, and I'm joined today by Matt from Bleecker Trading, who has taken over as the new owner. Congratulations, Matt.
Thank you so much, Danny. So happy to be here.
I'm going to start with the question we got to ask: where'd you grow up? Who was your team? How'd you get into the hobby?
I grew up in Milburn, New Jersey. My football team is the New York Giants. My baseball team are the New York Yankees. I got into the hobby when I was 10 years old when Pokémon swept the nation in 1990. It's so funny, right? Like, I remember vividly getting my first pack and being instantly hooked to collecting Pokemon cards. I wasn't a big sports card collector when I was a kid. The only sports card I had were, you remember Sports Illustrated Kids when they had
Oh, sure.
the perforated cutouts? I had a bunch of those, but like I was so hooked into the Pokemon craze. I mean, my mom would literally, so there was this toy store in my hometown called Kids Land, and whenever I was at school, my mom would call the shop and be like, "Do you have any of these?" And he would always stash like a couple to the side for her. Yeah. And then like growing up, there was also in Milburn of all places, there was a card shop in Milburn. It was right next to a scuba diving store for some reason. I'll never forget that. But it was a comic book shop mainly, but it had cards in there. So he would always have Pokemon cards too. But I was obsessed with it. That's how I got into the hobby.
That's awesome. I've got so many questions to come off of that. Let me start with when did you go to sports cards at all?
2024.
Really?
Yes. So I was an investor before working and owning Bleecker. I was an investor in the gaming space, focused on esports and stuff like that. And I was just really bored. As an investor, I didn't, I really like to get my hands on in a project, and I was just looking for my next thing. So I thought to myself, hey, why don't I just get back into collecting cards? And my younger sibling, because I had just moved back to New York, who has been collecting basketball cards for like 5 years up to that point, was like, you should really go check out this little shop in the West Village called Bleecker Trading. And so I got on the one train, went three stops, got off, walked right to the shop, and instantly fell in love with not just the hobby, but the vibe and everyone in the shop. They made it extremely approachable to get back into a hobby that I hadn't been a part of for 15 years. Bought my first booster box and ripped it, pulled a Charizard. The rest is history.
You got the touch.
I do, but I'm on a cold streak right now.
If I'm breaking, I let my wife do it. I don't know why. I couldn't open a card if you handed me the card. She could take a box and pull everything. It's unreal.
I'm going to have to come over and have your wife rip my boxes for me now.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even hide the fact. I
Like
married better and she breaks better.
the
What can I
last
tell you?
big hit I got, and I don't even know if you consider this a big hit. I have to pull it out. Hold on. Out of Mosaic, which is actually, this is a hot take, is one of my favorite products.
Medium take. I love Mosaic.
Mosaic Gold
Oh,
Penix,
thanks.
and then
Nice.
WNBA Select Cameron Brink.
Oh,
Ripped and graded these myself.
so how often do you actually rip your own stuff?
Not often anymore.
That's what I was wondering.
Since taking over. Not often anymore. I'm just, it's very selective, right? I enjoy I still get the joy of watching other people, like my customers, when they come in and they want to rip. I still get the joy out of it. Like, the one thing about our shop is we're very community oriented, right? So we have the retail in the front and we have our lounge in the back. So when people buy product or buy boxes, they want to rip it there. There's just this energy and this vibe that we have cultivated, that people just really enjoy ripping there. That way, if they hit something big, like, we're all super excited for that person. We post it on our Instagram and just really create that community feel in terms of ripping in the hobby.
So I was going to ask you about that because you talked about your mom calling the store and putting the packs aside. And that reminds me so much of like the days when we just called everything a baseball card store. It didn't
Yeah.
matter what it sold, we
Yep.
just called it the baseball card store.
Yeah.
But there was a sense of community, whether it was the same old guys sitting around all the time or the
Hmm.
dusty shelves, or whatever it was your shop. How do you, in today's world, with the modern store, you are still a business,
Hmm.
so it can't just be a social club. How do you balance that act of making it comfortable for everybody and still, quite frankly, moving forward as a business?
It's a really good question. The way that we do that is we don't recognize ourselves as a card shop. We're a hospitality business,
Awesome.
right? Which we're a hospitality business that sells sports cards and trading cards and Pokemon cards. Our primary focus is ensuring that everyone that walks through our door, there is something there for them to want to engage in, whether it's the dollar single bins, whether it's high-end wax on the wall, whether it's Hello Kitty packs, for little Jimmy's sister or younger sibling wants to come in that doesn't necessarily collect Pokemon cards but loves Hello Kitty. Like, we want to make sure that there is something there for everybody so that they feel included and they discover what this hobby's all about.
Matt, that was the greatest quote ever.
Thank you.
First of all, I've been to your store, so I want you to know that I say this as a fan and a customer. So you don't have to worry about me leaving. I'll sit there all day and break.
Pizza's on me next time.
Rick, let me tell you something. I've taken a few people up on that deal over the years. What do you find running an LCS? What's the biggest challenge with bringing people into the hobby? Is it education? Is it access to product? And how can we overcome that to help bring more kids in? Is it focusing on kids' events?
I think it's a couple of factors, right? I think the two you said are probably the primary driver. One, in my opinion, I think the most important is the education aspect of it, right? A 10-year-old kid comes in with their parent. The parent has no idea what's going on. One thing that my staff and myself really emphasize is educating that parent on, this is what a retail product is, this is what a hobby product is, this is what a booster box is, this is what a Pokemon tin is, and what the price points are, what you can potentially get out of it. It's just making sure that those people that are coming into the shop, whether you are a kid with a parent or if you're a 25-year-old trying to get into this hobby, understands what they are getting into, right? A lot of the times, like a lot of people at any other retail shop would be like, here, you're here to buy this, get on going. No, we love to strike up that conversation. Like, what drew you to the shop? What drew you to want to get into Pokemon cards? Was it the Wall Street Journal article that just came out the other day? Or is it the fact that when you were a kid, you used to collect cards? Are you a sports card collector? Are you a sports fan? I think that education piece is so critical to ensuring that we're not just servicing the hobby, but we're servicing those people outside of the hobby that are intrigued to get into the hobby. And then the other thing you said was scarcity of product. I think it's driving people to our shop because we get them from our distributors, of course. But the scarcity of product is something that I think the big box retailers need to really learn, how to figure out how to tackle.
Yeah, without a doubt. When somebody comes in who's a sports fan,
Mm-hmm.
I find a direct correlation between, especially with kids, the passion for sports and putting that into a passion for cards, or a passion for games and turning that into TCG, whatever it is. Do you see that correlation with somebody in football season loving the Giants and maybe that being an opening to getting their first Giants card or something like that?
Absolutely. I think one thing that is so inherent to us is, the first sense of community that you are exposed to as a child is your little league sports team, right? And the second is the hobby, right? If you get into the hobby, in my opinion. I have a lot of people coming in that say, I'm a huge Giants fan, or I'm a huge Justin Tuck fan, or I'm a huge Jackson Dart fan. So I really want to get one of his cards. And there's like this discoverability aspect to it, right? Like going through the singles bins. That's one thing that a lot of card shops, some of them still utilize or still, put into their ecosystem, but a lot of them really don't anymore. I remember, as our founder, at least as a kid as well, remembered going into their card shop and sifting through the singles bins to see what kind of gold you can find. But yes, I think that's one way that people get intrigued into the hobby is by collecting their favorite sports team, or favorite either sports team or their player. And for Pokemon too, it's right. Like I remember playing the Game Boy game, and I always chose Charmander right out the gate. Always, I love Charizard. That's my favorite Pokemon, and I'm a big Charizard collector now.
Sure.
Right.
I'll take a Van Gogh if you have one.
I do have one, actually.
Do you have it?
In my personal collection. You want me to find you one?
Not at the prices they're going for. I saw that the other day.
Crazy. crazy. And it's the most
It's a
graded
beautiful
card.
card. I'm not going to lie. It's a beautiful card.
It's amazing. It's an amazing promo. And I think that is another aspect of what's driving people to the hobby is, when it comes to the types of art, right? And the types of activations around the cards. The Van Gogh Pikachu is bringing a lot of art enthusiasts into the hobby, right? There's all these different dimensions that draw people to these assets.
From a macro standpoint, where do you see Bleecker? Where do you see the hobby? And going forward, what would you say, you're talking about a year from now?
Let's just start with the hobby. I think the hobby's having an incredible moment right now. There's this renaissance going on in terms of people trusting the alternative assets that they're investing their money into. So I think that, coupled with the fact that sports and Pokemon are such pop cultural phenomenons and relevant in terms of people engaging with celebrities or their athletes, right? Whether they're not directly engaging with them, they're indirectly engaging with them with brands that they represent or brands that they align with. Same with cards, right? Athletes that are getting into trading cards, fans are also trying to get engaged with that too. For Bleecker, everything is on the table in terms of what we're doing in the future. I can't really speak to too much of it right now. I got to keep you guys guessing in some ways, but everything's on the table for us in terms of what we're thinking about from a year from now.
Well, we call that a leave behind, so I'll have to invite you back again.
I'd love to come back.
Absolutely. Give us the locations and the best way to get in touch with you guys.
Absolutely. So we have 2 locations in New York City, one in the West Village on Christopher Street, 96 Christopher Street. And then our second location's in the Upper West Side on 185 West 80th on the corner of 80th and Amsterdam. If you want to reach out, is through Instagram at Bleecker Trading. And we consistently are running pre-orders. So if you're New York local, on our website, check out our pre-order page.
Awesome. Matt, really want to thank you again for coming on. Everybody, check out everything that you just gave. And Bleecker Trading, 2 locations and online. I've been there. It's fantastic. You will have a blast, whether you're getting into the hobby or you're a veteran. Check them out. Bleecker Trading. Matt, thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.